What's up YouTube, ElementSaber Wargames, bringing you a very, very interesting video, and that is a ElementSaber hand loop combo video. Now, I didn't obviously come up with this combo. I've seen this combo on YUGIOH buy-in on Facebook and Team YUGIOH Pro. Now this basically requires a full hand. This is your first turn hand, but you rip your opponent of all their cards possible, and then hopefully from that point on you've won the game. So what we'll do is I'll take you through exactly what you need, and then we'll show you the combo. I've done it a couple of times, so I might slip up a few, but we'll try and do the best we possibly can. So your opening hand must be Photon Thrasher or an equivalent of. Now the equivalent of, in the best possible ways, is something like Goblinberg. It needs to be a level 4, you need it for a rank 4 play. You then need to have either the ElementSaber Lapulia Mana or another ElementSaber monster in your hand, because then what you'll also be doing is you'll be using the field spell to search out Lapulia Mana if you don't have it, or an additional ElementSaber monster if you don't have it. So we'll start off with the most ideal hand, which is those two there. And then what you need is you need 2 more monsters in your hand. So we're going to have Neo-Spacian Aquadolphin, and we'll have an ElementSaber Ania. Now, there is a way of using the Neo-Spacian in this as well, because all you need is a warrior for your normal summon. So we're going to play this through and I'll show you what we do. If you want to be safe, you would special summon your Photon Thrasher, and then you would normal summon your Neo-Spacian Aquadolphin to rip a card from your opponent's hand. So that is your safe play. That is to stop them having any type of hand trap. So if they've got like Ash, Ogre, anything that will stop your field spell going off, that's like, this is a safe play. So alternatively, what you would do is you would normal summon what you searched off of this, or an additional ElementSaber. So this is like the safe option. This is as an additional extension. So what you would then do is you'd use Neo-Spacian's effect. You would discard this one. It does put you at a bit of a tighter spot throughout the rest of the duel, because that monster you might need for your firewall combos. But this is the safety play. You then activate, obviously, your field spell. Your field spell then searches your deck for an ElementSaber monster. Now, like I said, if you've already got Lapulia Mana, you just pretty much search any ElementSaber monster you want. Now, I've just put multiples Anias in this, because this isn't obviously the full deck. It's just a stack of the cards you're going to use. I will be doing a deck profile, so don't worry about that. You then use Palace's ability, or you use Lapulia Mana's ability to special summon itself, using Palace's ability to send to grave. Now, the one thing you do have to be very, very 100% on is what you send to grave has to be a level 4. Do not send the Nalu or the Malu, because you are going to need those. So definitely send a level 4. Ideally, you want to send the Malay, and then we'll send our third Ania. So they're all into the graveyard. That's special summon our Lapulia Mana. You then use Neo-Spacian and Lapulia Mana to go into your Isolde. There we go, and obviously we've got the one in hand still. We use Isolde's ability to search out the less relevant ElementSaber in our deck, and that is either going to be Nalu or Malu. Now obviously go with Nalu because you're going to be going for your Mooning Glacier play. Then use Isolde's effect to send 2 equips. Now one of these has to be a Phoenix Blade, mine hasn't arrived yet, but you'd send one of those, which is a Phoenix Blade. And special summon our Ania from deck. Oh, so there you go, that's where I've already misplayed. So you need to make sure you keep an Ania in deck. So rather than sending Ania off of the Palace, we'll send the Malu, because we don't really need that. There you go. So that's all into the graveyard there, and this is our deck here. So we special summon our Ania. We use Ania's effect to discard the Nalu to revive one from grave. Now this is where you need to revive the level 4, so you revive your Malayu. You then overlay your Photon Thrasher and your Malayu to go into your Raid Raptor 4-Strix, detach the ElementSaber, wouldn't matter too much, search out your Blackwing Zephyros the Elite, then link your Ania and your 4-Strix together, and go into your Goblin. Use Goblin's effect to discard the Zephyros to the graveyard. Zephyros effect then goes off, so you bounce back the Palace, bring back your Zephyros, you take 400 damage. Now obviously if your Neo-Spacian's gone off, you've already burnt your opponent for 500, so you're already up on life points still anyway, so don't worry too much about that. Activate your Palace. Now on this time when activating the Palace, you want to make sure you search out your Makani, because that is going to be searching you out. You want the monster on board, and that's going to search you out your Mooning Glacier. So with your additional normal summon off a Goblin, and also on the Makani, use the effect of the Palace to send an ElementSaber from your deck. So we're going to send Lapulia mana, just Lapulia, sorry, and search out your Moon in Glacier. Now in our graveyard at this moment in time, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 different cards that can change their attribute, and obviously we only need to change 4 of them, and that gives us on Moon and Glacier on board. So we change by changing 4 of them because we've got 1 water in graveyard already. So we'll change whatever we need to, bring out our Moon and Glacier, rip our opponent back down to 2 cards, and let's remember we know exactly what's in our opponent's hand because we used the Neospatian. So then this is our board as it stands right here. Now I've just got to make sure I do the next step correctly. We go Isolde, Zephyros and Makani into our Firewall. The Firewall there goes next to Goblin. At this point now revive the sword, so banish your Isolde and the Makani and add back the sword to the hand. Because then what we're going to do is we're going to use Goblin, get rid of Goblin, go into Mermaid, Mermaid chain-link 1, Firewall chain-link 2. We're going to discard the sword off of Mermaid and give us a draw. So this draw can literally be anything. And then off of Firewall, we're going to special summon our Anya from our hand, or whatever monster you've got in your hand to special summon. Now I believe, just make sure I've got the next steps right. Yep, Mermaid, so we finish off Mermaid, bring out Ibli. We're then going to link these guys together and go into the actual Ib. Firewall's effect is going to go off. Do we use it right now? No, we don't use Firewall's effect right now to summon. We use Firewall's effect to bounce 2. So you make sure you bring back from your graveyard your Lapulia, because you want that on the board as your end phase, and then we'll go with Anya as well. We're then going to, just to make sure we've got it, banish 2 more warriors. There we go. And add the sword back. We then use Moon and Glacier, Ibli, so Sea Serpent, Spellcaster and Fiend, and go into Curious. Curious's effect goes off to send Snow from deck to grave. So there you go, Snow from deck to grave. We then use the ability of Firewall to special summon out our Lapulia mana. Is it Lapulia? Not Lapulia mana, sorry. Anya. You then link Curious and Anya together for your Topologic Gumbler Dragon. You then use Firewall's ability to special summon your Lapulia to the zone it points to. That then triggers Gumbler's ability, and that rips the final 2 cards from your opponent's hand. You then got the sword in hand and then a random card in hand, so that during your opponent's standby phase, you banish 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bring out your Snow and make sure it goes next to where Firewall is. That will then trigger Gumbler Dragon, so you discard these 2 cards here. Done that right? Discard, because you have to discard off Gumbler Dragon instead of being grave. Oh no, that was it, sorry. So because you use Neospatian, before we go into Snow, you would discard off a Gumbler Dragon your Neospatian and the sword, rip the last 2 from your opponent's hand. You would then do sword again, banishing 2 more warriors, adding sword back to the hand, so that during your opponent's standby phase, you activate Snow, Snow comes back to Firewall, you then only have 1 in your hand, your opponent only has 1 in the hand, you discard the sword, you discard the last card in your opponent's hand, they then pass back to you because they've got nothing, they can't do anything. If they've got a quick play spell, obviously you chain Lapulia mana and you can negate by sending from deck to grave. It then comes back to you. Now this is where it kind of comes down to a bit of patience, because you can't enter your battle phase because you use the field spell. You can then overextend and go into XYZs, or you literally go, what can my opponent draw that's going to cause me any issues whatsoever? If you want to, you banish, you add the sword back. You could then, of course, overlay these 2, detach to any rank 4, as long as it will detach the Snow, and then during your opponent's standby phase, you do the Snow again, discard the sword, rip from your opponent's hand, and then you've got an XYZ on board, you've got a Firewall, a Gumbler, you've got Snow, and then you go back into your turn, you get to draw a card. You then switch your Snow to attack, the XYZ to attack, whatever you've drawn, you can normal summon it, and you've pretty much got game there. You've got 3, 4, 5, 6. If you wanted to, you could link up the Snow and then go again and bring the Snow back, and you could keep doing that during until you finish your opponent off. So that is it for the combo. Like I said, it does take a lot of steps, and it does require you to have a full hand. Now with the deck profile, you'll kind of see that it's not as much of a worry to have that many monsters in your hand. And like I said, the Neospatian is the safer option, but because you can play it different kind of ways as well, Neospatian isn't an absolute must or a certainty in your opening hand. It just helps extend your board a little bit further. Now to get to the field spell, we play 7 copies of it, because you've got 3 terraforming and 1 set rotation. With your monsters, you've got a rotor in there, so you can get any specific monster you need to your hand as and when you choose. But just being able to rip all cards from your opponent's hand in a relatively consistent way, because like I said, the only ones that are a must is the field spell that we've got 7 ways of getting to, and then a level 4 extender, which could then, if you wanted to make it more consistent, could be instant fusion. If you wanted to play 3 of those, you could then have 3 instant fusion, 3 photon thrashers, 3 goblin burgers if you wanted to. So you've got like anywhere from 3 to 9 ways of your deck of getting to those monsters. Now obviously 6 might be the ideal way. Your instant fusion then does take up your extra monster zone, but as long as you use that to link off with to get into your extension at a later point of the combo, you'll be absolutely fine. So that is your options. Anyway, I hope this helps. Hope you've given an idea of how to play this combo and made it as clear as it possibly can be. If you do have any questions, put them in the comments below and I will do my best to try and answer them for you. But for now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and as always guys, happy dueling. What's up YouTube, thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button, and of course don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button in the bottom left hand corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We've got more deck profiles, duels, pack openings and many more Yu-Gi-Oh videos coming up for you all year round, so don't forget to stay tuned for all of that. Thanks, and as always guys, happy dueling.